Hi guys, so today we'll be solving this problem called maximum area of a piece of cake after horizontal and vertical cuts. Let's read it. Given a rectangular cake with height h and width w and two arrays of integer horizontal cuts and vertical cuts, where horizontal cuts of I is the distance from top of the rectangular cake to the ith horizontal cut, and similarly vertical cuts is the distance from the left of the rectangular cake to the jth vertical cut. Return the maximum area of piece of cake after you cut at each horizontal and vertical position provided in the arrays horizontal cuts and vertical cuts. Since the answer can be a huge number, return this modulo 10 raised to 9 plus 7. Okay, so we have been given a cake which is rectangular, and we have been given the height and the width of that cake, and we have also been given two arrays. One is the horizontal cuts array and other is vertical cuts array. Now, those vertical cuts and horizontal cuts are the ith and the jth cut which are there on this cake. Okay. So for example, in horizontal cuts, we have the first number as 1. So we can see that on the first, like the distance which is 1 unit, okay, which is of 1 unit, there would be a cut. Okay, now when we have the second element as 2, so we see that this 2 units of cake which is starting from the top will have another cut. Okay, we can see that here by red line. Then we can see the horizontal cuts has last number as 4. So we can see the fourth unit from the top has a cut. Okay. So we have 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 4 is the cut. And we can see similarly in vertical cuts, we can see from the left, we have vertical cut on 1, and then the vertical cut which is on 3. So we have a 3, we have a cut on 3 here. Okay, so these are the cuts that we have on the cake. Now we need to make sure that we get the maximum cake with this cut. Okay, so in out of all of this cut, the cake would be divided into pieces, right? Many pieces. Now we need to identify what is the maximum number of maximum area of cake that you can have. So for that, the intuition is very simple. That first you take the distance between the cuts such that the distance between the cuts should be maximum. Okay, so I should have the cake which has the maximum area of length and breadth. Okay, so these two parameters should be the maximum. So for that, I need to identify which is the maximum distance between the horizontal cuts and which is the maximum distance between the vertical cuts, and whatever is the maximum distance between them, and multiplying both of them will give us the area of the cake that we need. So that's what we will be doing here. Let's code that, because it's very simple. First we need to sort, and then we need to check what is the maximum distance between the two horizontal or vertical cuts, and we need to multiply the maximum distance between them to get the area. So let's code this. First, we return, I call this function called get maximum gap. Okay, I pass horizontal cuts, and I pass the height into get max gap vertical cuts, comma w, which is the width. Okay, I'll pass this in the function to get us the maximum gap. So get max gap would be having horizontal cuts. Okay, let's make it num, and and maximum size. Okay, now when we come here in the maximum function, what we do first is we sort the array, which is nums.begin, which is sorting the number of cuts that we have. Oh, sorry, nums.end. And then we take a variable called max gap and find the maximum cut. Now we need to make sure the conditions, the edge cases here will be that what if the cut is on the top, and we have the maximum cut that we have which is above the top. Okay, So for example, we have a maximum at 1 unit. So we need to make sure that we also check the condition for every area which is above that first cut. And similarly, we need to also check for the last cut, that the maximum area between the last cut and the left out area. Okay, so for that we'll be checking the condition that nums of 0, maximum between nums of 0, and uh, max size minus nums dot back. Okay, so whatever is at the which is the highest cut unit, we need to check that, and we need to subtract it from the maximum size of the horizontal of the height of the whole cake. Okay, so that will give us the area which is left out in the lowest cut and the area which is left out in the highest cut. Okay, now simply we will be just iterating through the array to find the maximum cut between the two cuts. So max gap will be maximum of max gap, comma, nums of I minus nums of I minus 1. So consecutive cuts would be checked, and whatever is the maximum, we return that. Okay, now we see that we need to return the answer in 10 raised to 9 plus 7, right? So what we'll be doing is that first we'll be typecasting the first function into long, and then we'll be multiplying it with another which is int, and then I'll be making this 1e9. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Okay, so so what I'm doing here is that I'm first converting. So if we check this, okay, if we make the whole like first we multiply both of these and then we make it long, then it would give us a TLE, because we need to first convert one of the variables into long, because if we multiply both of them, then the integer overflows, right? So we need to first convert one of them into long, and then the second one, if when multiplied, would be stored in long, and then we have to um, you know give a modulo answer. Okay, so let's run the code to see if everything is working fine. Yes, yes, that is accepted. So I hope you guys understood the problem. Do solve it, and do like this video and share this video. Subscribe to my channel, and I post lead code videos every day, so keep your eye on it. Thank you.